Hey, and welcome to another thrilling installment of the Jen and JD Show.
You don't sound really excited about this one.
I'm a little tired.
We're going to title this one in honor of what we've spent the last couple of days doing, Trustfalls and Icebreakers.
And we can look forward to having I at least have a whole nother week of it to look forward to.
I'm going to ISTE, so we're just playing a lot of get to know you, and this is two introverts. We know we're introverts because we got to spend a day and a half working on our Myers-Briggs.
Yep, that was fun.
It really wasn't as bad.
No, it could have been worse.
And I guess that it's been interesting the last week and a half. We have a new president coming in, a new principal, not a new person to the building, but in a new position. And so a lot of it is team building and figuring out how people get to know each other and how they get along.
And shifting responsibilities and who's going to cover what and varying levels of anxiety. And then being June in education, we've got new freshmen coming in with their new cycle, and we have new prospective parents starting to cycle in. And so we've just met a lot of new people. We're trying to get people comfortable in new positions and new roles. And yeah, it's a lot on an introvert here.
But you know, one of the interesting things is a lot of the things that we talk about in these team building exercises, or as we look at our Myers-Briggs, we're talking about who you are as a person. What is your context?
Yep.
And then we talk about how do you interrelate and work with other people, and how do you draw the best out of each other.
Yes.
And it's amazing watching the freshmen as they come in. We have 23 freshmen in the afternoon computer applications course. That's the course that we redesigned to focus on digital citizenship.
Yeah.
And when we ask, how are you doing with BYOT, they're all raising their hands. They've got their device. Right. They're ready to go. They're excited about it. They're thinking about it. And
they're thanking us for not making them learn new operating systems because they acknowledge that they already knew how to do some things.
Right.
And it was a completely different conversation that we had from students last year when this was going to be new.
Right. And so what I keep drawing back to is, we're starting to create an environment where their context is an important thing. Where they come from and what they already know how to do is one of the things that we as educators are acknowledging.
Right. And it's interesting how grateful they are about that. Mm-hmm. They know their context. They're remarkably self-aware in how they operate or what they knew. So they were very grateful for that. And some of them, I got the feeling, felt kind of empowered that school actually cared about their context. And that just made them that much more excited to be part of the learning environment here.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. So
you're getting ready to travel. I'm getting ready to travel. How thick is your electronic bag?
This one, it's not too bad,
What
actually.
Are you doing?
I am going to the Jesuit Secondary Education Association, so that's the Jesuit schools in North America. I think there should be some Canadians. And we're gathering to discuss professional development in the schools. And so I think I'm just taking the phone and the iPad.
Okay.
Because I don't have to do any large-scale production. Now I could wimp out on Sunday and throw the MacBook in my bag, but because I'm driving, so I don't have to go through security like you do. But I think it'll be mostly note-taking, maybe a small write-up summary kind of thing, but I think it'll be doable on the iPad.
I'm used to taking the big bag. Whenever I get on an airplane, I've got the heavy-duty 8-pocket, lots of technology bag, and as I started putting together my bag, I have a mini-projector, which I'm going to show you guys in a second, and I've got the Transformer Prime with the keyboard and the fancy new leather cover that I'm still trying to decide if I like or not, and I've got the Chromebook. I'm not there where I'm letting go of the Chromebook yet, and then the bag of cords. And beyond that, I don't really think, I'm not taking a full laptop with me. My wife pointed out that if I've got the Transformer Prime, do I really need the Chromebook? I'm not quite ready to cut that cord yet.
Okay.
But I'm definitely taking the small bag, not the big bag.
Okay.
So kind of excited about it. And then, I've got enough space for the prizes for Tech Lingo Bingo.
They're cool.
We're ready for you.
Bring it.
There are birds and pigs. That's all we'll say.
Yeah. So then,
News.
And we were apart for a week.
Yes.
Doing things too, so that's been a little unnerving.
If you've been following the blog, we've got the national debate tournament was here in Indianapolis for a week, and so while I was in the city, which was kind of a nice change, I got to see my daughters on Father's Day.
Hey.
I was not in the building, and so
I was administrator in charge, so I got to be, which is a new role for me, and that was okay. The building is still standing, so we can all be secure in that. But yeah, so we were a little off. But even though I was really busy, and even though we were sort of living our own other lives, did read some news, occasionally got on Twitter and flipped through, and I don't know about the viewing audience, but I'm a little concerned about these, I'm going to call it galvanic,
Sure.
You've read about them, bracelets that the Gates Foundation has been funding. So you read, it's a body temperature sensor.
Sure, it's that idea of measuring your biometrics,
right.
And that you know, everything you do is data.
Yes, and if you are more engaged, this thing reads some kind of signal that can be processed with the spooky eye in the sky and spit out as a level of engagement data report. And this could potentially be used for our absolutely favorite topic, metrics of
Merit
teacher effectiveness and value add and all of that to a merit pay discussion.
You know, even like when we start out, like as I hear those things, I'm like, it would be kind of nice as a teacher if I could sit there looking at a tablet or something on my desk, and I could see the cluster of disengaged students, use that as another piece of data as an in-class instructor. I don't think I would mind that too much.
Seriously? Because I've been in education for about 22 years now, and I can eyeball and look out if I'm really focused on looking, and I can tell you who is engaged and who is not. And my other concern with this, and it was brought up in some of the articles, we work with adolescents.
We do.
And adolescents get engaged by a variety of things that might waft past their peripheral. And as I understand it, these bracelets cannot really distinguish between what might be causing the engagement.
So what you're saying is basically adolescent boys become more engaged when the redhead goes to the pencil sharpener?
It's possible.
Huh.
It's been known to happen.
Well, that would certainly impact teacher effectiveness and value add.
Yes, it could. And it could lead to a whole new level of teacher actions to, oh gosh, how can I politely say it? You know, we're worried about cheating the standardized test. There we go. There could be whole new interesting ways of cheating the standardized metric.
Wow.
That would be inappropriate on so many levels.
That's an uncomfortable visualization.
Yeah, it is. So let's
Could you imagine the pressure on the counselors to try and get not just I need the brightest kids and the most attractive just for the adolescent metric?
Yeah.
Icky.
Icky on so many levels.
Okay, so that's the Gates Foundation,
yes.
But Microsoft made a nice announcement.
They did make a nice announcement.
So, and we're not going to go into a lot of detail about this just because there's not a lot of detail that we had yet, but the Microsoft Surface, which used to be a nice 40-inch table, the ultimate coffee table game, has been, that has lost its branding. It's been moved over, and Samsung's table now is a new name, and the Surface is going to be Microsoft's tablet.
Yes.
And this is the tablet that's going to run, sounds like there's two versions, the Windows 8 RT, the light version, that's going to have the student version of Microsoft Office, the light version of Microsoft Office on it. And then the full-blown Microsoft tablet PC will work with a pen, kind of what we've been using.
You can't see it. We have a big motion, full-size motion.
So kind of like our teachers have been using for the last 5 years, but in the new, rethought-out tablet format.
Right.
And so it'll be interesting to see as that plays. Windows 8 we've been testing for a while here in the building.
And it's nice.
It is. You know, once you get used to the fact that there's no start button and the corners actually matter,
right?
It is a nice operating system. So it'll be interesting to see how Windows 8 operates in the tablet world.
Yeah,
I'll be interested in that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think we move on then to our reading list this time around.
It's been 2 weeks. What books are you on now?
Actually, I need to first say in GC 35 in the general congregation, so actually only 6 major points.
Oh, so you can fly through that.
Yeah, we were guessing 18. They were just a little long. Let's see. What am I reading? In my trash, read some teen fantasy fiction. I'm reading Fire, which is the second book from Kristen Cashore, in a fantasy kind of word. I will blame our librarian across the hall for getting me hooked on those. The Jesuit side, I am now on to Inner Compass by Margaret Silf, which I think you have one of her books. Yeah, so that's channel and focus kind of good stuff. And then thanks to my husband, who occasionally likes me to read his communication theory stuff, Kenneth Burke's Permanence and Change, but just excerpts, thankfully, because it's kind of a tome. But about, and it'll be a blog post here soon, about how we learn things and how it sometimes when we are overtrained to an activity that we become blind to other better methods.
I am entirely focused on digital citizenship at this point. We're going into phase 2 of the redesign. We've done it for one semester, and so we're getting ready to what do we need to fix, what do we need to tweak. And I want to spend a lot more time talking about students as digital citizens and how we transform digital natives into digital citizens. I think that's going to be the theme of the entire course. And so I'm reading Networked, which just came out. It's called The New Social Operating System by Lee Rainey. And that book is focused on how technology is changing how we make connections. It's not saying the connections are worse or we're lonelier. It's how we're changing them. I have restarted getting organized in the Google age, or the Google era. And that's written by a former, I think, CFO or CEO of Google. And how he developed his ability to stay engaged. And then one you recommended to me, You Are Not a Gadget. By Jaron Lanier.
I had some good stuff in the
and I haven't read it yet, started that one yet. So.
Yeah, and that's just to work with our bias. We work with gadgets so much, you sometimes, not you, me too, I mean, we forget people are people, and that's a different relationship.
Well, on the Myers-Briggs, I scored a 0 on feeling, so evidently I don't acknowledge any of you. This is all for me.
I balanced that one out a little bit more. Apparently I'm a bit judgmental, though.
And then since somebody said it couldn't be summer without Terry Pratchett, I am on the second Discworld book.
Oh, which one?
So, Light Fantastic.
Oh, so you're not going... I can give you the thing that Dale made, the sheet. There are themes, if you would want to read
it.
Last Continent. Hilarious. And that's an early one of his. I've read that last week. I read those really fast. That's the one where they actually talk about professional development and learning styles.
I'll move toward that one.
Hilarious.
I started with book 1. I'm into book 2 now, and they are short.
Yeah, they're not.
Like I'm used to like 18 and 20-hour audiobooks. And
no. These are borderline young adult fiction almost. They're not, but they would bridge that gap. Okay, I think we have a demo of the really cool new Tool toy.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how we're going to have to tip in some of the footage from this because I'm not going to set this up to show you, but. This is I think it's pronounced Qumi or Quimi. It's this is a Pico projector. And so the idea behind this, as I understand it, was, projectors are getting smaller and smaller. Even the projectors that we're putting in our classrooms now are much smaller than they used to be. Well, size is usually related to cost and usually related to quality. But what's interesting about this series of projectors are these ultra small projectors. One, they're very compact. I mean, they're easy to travel with. They're very versatile. This has, if you look on the back here, this has the audio in and the audio out, so you can hook up external speakers. Nice. It has USB. It has a micro SD card. Then it has an HDMI mini, and it has the universal input-output that you would use with like an Apple device. And so what's interesting for, as I was putting this together, my Transformer Prime hooks up to it with an adapter. Well, the Transformer Prime has it built in. You just need the cable. My Galaxy Note does have an adapter. The iPads have an adapter. And so all of a sudden, this becomes the multi-function device that you can just plug anything into with really a mini to HDMI adapter, and you're set, ready to use just about anything. The brightness on it is not what you're going to expect in a classroom. And it's not, the classroom projectors we're using now are like 1,800, 2,100 lumens. And that's all a measure of brightness. But what I remember is, 8 years ago, we were completely fine with a classroom that only had a 900 lumen projector. This has a 300 lumen projector, but that 300 lumens that this has,
Yeah.
because of the quality of the DLP
Right.
projection, because of the blackness of the black and the brightness of the bright, it really looks
Yeah.
good from a pretty far distance.
Yeah, we threw it up on the wall here just to play around, and you could do it. You could easily see what was going on, and then the closer you got, if for a meeting space or a conference room, or my goodness, that fits in my purse.
Yeah, so
to carry.
If you start thinking about doing presentations or going into a meeting where you're going to need like a 36-inch screen,
Right.
or a 40-inch screen, or even as small as a 24-inch screen, your laptop or your iPad's only 9 inches,
Right.
so it's not at that 8 to 10 person meeting range.
Right.
But these projectors are, and so it's easy to.
Or even if you were in a convention center and you had a table out,
Yeah.
you could have just a whiteboard or
Yeah.
a piece of poster paper even, and boom, you've got a projection screen.
Well, and I'm signed up for enough of these ISTE playground things. I
Right.
think that's why I picked this
Right.
up, so that I'm doing enough little demonstrations in a room
Right.
full of people that I wanted to have something if I wanted to show more than one or two people what's going on my Transformer
Oh, that would
Prime.
be fantastic.
That's what we're using it for.
Very nice.
The other thing about it is they're affordable.
Yeah.
I saw some of the 50 lumen and 100 lumen ones are down to under $200.
Goodness.
And then you're no more than $300 or $400 for some really high quality ones. In fact, your basic digital projectors are now running $500 and $600.
Right.
So I think at this point we're almost to that commoditization where you can start to picture what a classroom would look like, where instead of the entire room being focused on one big screen up front, you could have the mini projector in the corner with 2 or 3 kids working around it, preparing a presentation
Right,
or practicing a presentation, rather than the entire focus of the classroom being the one projector in the room.
Or I could even see for younger grades having stations.
Yeah.
If you were setting up stations.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
So that's our demo and our readings,
Yes.
and you are off.
I am off to Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Follow JSCA ILC for Ignatian Learning Communities if you're interested in what the Jesuits are up to with professional development.
And I know that there's a bunch of us talking about doing some tweet-ups, some live tweet-ups in ISTE. So if you're following JD Ferris, I'm sure there will be some meme or something going on at ISTE while we make fun of the different presentations. And then I'm going to try and keep my daily blog up while I'm at ISTE. So
Excellent.
thank you very much, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.